Nice. And then yeah, we're gonna introduce the future Rave big synth. I know there's a patch in here that could really work. So yeah, now it's just a matter of finding a catchy melody, something that could work on the dance floor. So I'm just gonna try to do some melodies. Turning down the glide a little bit. Just adding some little variations to keep the melody interesting. Okay, so for now this could work. Maybe we'll change it later on. But this is kind of the melody I was looking for. And then right now this sounds really dry, and a big thing in future Rave is a lot of reverb and a lot of things going on in the background. So a cool way to do that is by doing the following. So I'm gonna add a reverb, but instead of just adding it on the track, I'm gonna group this effect and create an audio effect chain. I'm gonna create 3 chains. I'm gonna rename them. This one's gonna be the reverb chain. We got the delay or the echo, whatever you want to call it, and this is gonna be the dry chain. I'm gonna call this lead. And then on the reverb chain, obviously there's gonna be a reverb. And on these chains, everything needs to be 100%. So I'm gonna put 100% of reverb on this instance. And the cool thing is you can like really fine tune your reverb like this. Like I'm gonna put an EQ after it. And the same for the delay. I really like to use the Echo Boy. So right now you're probably thinking like, what the hell is this? What is going on? But I have these two channels which are 100% wet, and then I'm gonna sidechain them basically to the dry signal. So I'm gonna add a compressor and set the sidechain to the lead channel, and then I'm gonna select in these tracks the dry one, prefix. So what you can hear and see now happening is whenever the lead, the dry signal stops, the reverb is getting sucked up because the compression is making sure that whenever the dry lead plays, the reverb gets ducked down, and whenever it stops, the reverb goes up and the delay as well. So this really creates an interesting effect which you hear like a lot in the future rave style. I'm gonna put the same compressor, sidechain compressor on the delay channel. And this way you can really fine-tune your reverb and stuff, like I said before. And to make this effect even more drastic, I'm gonna add a compressor after this chain. So I love to use OTT. Just adding some EQs to make sure the sound fits, because I'm using an OTT and then there's going to be some different frequencies going on there. So with this EQ I'm shaping the sound again to my liking. Straight from there, I just want to drop into the drop, kick, bass, everything. So I'm going to create a little bit of a build up towards that drop, and I'm just going to add a reverb on top of this lead, so on top of the other reverb. But this one's just to automate and create like a big sweep up. So right there I would drop them. Also high pass filter to really take out all the lows. or low pass filter, I mean. And what I also like to do with these kind of stuff, these kind of things, is to just add a second layer or a second track for the lead in the drop and the lead in the break. You could just use the same channel in the drop and in the break, but I think for me there's a little bit more control if I use two separate tracks, and then I can lower the volume of the one in the break, for example, without having to automate everything or changing the EQ and automating the EQ. I can just go and, for example, this could be a little bit less loud than the one in the drop and have contain a little bit less highs or something. Of course, I'm gonna have to use an utility again to stop the reverb of this track. And also a great trick is to lower the volume and lower the width of the sound towards the drop to create more tension and more impact on the drop. Because of the filter and everything and the reverb, the sound is going up, so you wanted to use the utility to lower it a little bit again, so the lead in the drop really hits hard. And as you can see, I'm also taking out a little bit of the width, so the synth becomes a little bit more mono, and then once it kicks in, it goes full on stereo again. I'm actually gonna mute it right before the drop because I'm gonna add like a big snare there, I think, or like a good nice fill. That's perfect. Always listen to the different parts to see if the context is still is there, like the volume balances. I want to take out some lows out of these synths. So it's really coming together. I can already hear the drop. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more sounds to the build up. added the synth shot to add some more drama to the melody, the bass shift. Let's see what else. Another thing that we could use is like a flanger towards the drop. It's always a really cool effect, I think. Or a phaser. Or even to make some like crazy edits. Another thing I like to do with these kind of leads is to create like a return track, like so, and just add some weird stuff, you know, like there's this one plugin dispenser which is pretty crazy. And you know, just try some different stuff and then mix that in like underneath the synth to create like a little bit of movement on the synth, so it's just not only the synth playing, but also like you could add some flanger to it, or in this case I'm just adding like some crazy stuff. Okay, so now we can start adding the kick and the bass and everything. So I'm gonna go into our pack, our sample pack, and single shots. Kind of like the low end of this one. It doesn't really have like a tick or anything, so I'm gonna try and create a kick out of 2 kicks. So I'm just gonna take the low end of this one. And the high end and the mids of this one. Also, I'm gonna add some side chain. So how I'm gonna do that is you can either use like a volume shape or something, or the Nick Romero kickstart, but I'm gonna just use a ghost, like the original way to do sidechain is like creating a little a ghost signal. So I'm just using the kick, but I'm cutting it really short, copying it where the kick is playing, and then muting this channel. And then similar to how we did the reverb and delay trick earlier, I'm gonna use that same trick to create the sidechain. So I'm gonna add the compressor to the lead and then use the sidechain function. I'm gonna call this channel ghosts. So it's already starting to get there, but obviously we need some more stuff going on here. The kick and the top kick and the low kick, I'm just gonna compress them together a little bit using the SSL, which I really like. Just the SSL channel. Just like gluing them together a little bit, and then I also like to use the multiband compressor from the Fab Filter Pro MB. If I want to like add some little bit of a low end. And then another thing I always do with my kicks is like I try to shape them so the bass can fit. So in this case I'm gonna use the shaper box. Basically what I'm doing is the opposite of a sidechain. I'm gonna shorten the signal. So I can make it as short as I want. I think this is fine. And now we can add a bass line. So again, I'm gonna go into our pack, preset pack, which has some very nice bass lines. This one sounds pretty clean, so I'm gonna use this. I also like to group my kick and bass together. Similar, just to glue them together so you have like a really solid low end. Again, this time I'm going to use the Tube Tech compressor. And the MB, the Pro MB that I put on the kick, I'm going to put on the group actually with the kick and the bass. And because this is a little bit of a low note, I'm going to add a second bass. Just the same preset, I'm going to put it an octave up. Because when you play this on like a phone or a laptop speaker, you're not gonna hear the sub. So I want to make sure that even on those kind of systems, the sub gets translated. So I'm adding a second layer, octave higher, but then we need to make sure that the frequencies are not clashing. So let's see where this lower sub is located at. So around 40. So we're gonna cut everything below 40 for this layer. So yeah, it's almost you can already hear the end result almost. It's just adding some extra stuff right now. Sweep. Maybe some, like a big clap always works. A lot of white noise also, you can hear that a lot in future rave music. And then here, take away the kick. Just creating some interesting fill here. again phaser. Okay, so now I think adding some percussion is what we need to do. So for this fill right here, maybe some snares. Adding an interesting snare roll. I'm gonna transpose that up so it goes from low to high. And then in this part, add some like toms and shakers and stuff. So first I'll start with the toms. Always tune your toms. Gonna take out some low end out of these toms because it's gonna interfere with the bass. I'm also gonna take out some lows of this lead.